Hey guys, going to be doing a tips and tricks video today. I'm on my free-to-play account because this first one is really easy to demonstrate here. And I'm just going to be, I don't know if I'll be able to actually demonstrate absolutely everything, but I'm going to go through a lot of little kind of things that I think they're becoming pretty common knowledge with a lot of them, but some of them are pretty new. This one just went up on Reddit not too many days ago, I think, maybe a week at most. But it's a new trick for DB. So I'm going to explain to you how it works. But basically, what you do is you get easier opponents to beat in DB. There's more details on Reddit. Just find the easy DB thing. Maybe I'll even look it up myself if you want to see exactly what the thread's name is. But I'm kind of lazy, so I don't know about that yet. But anyway, I'm just going to be demonstrating how it works. So the way it works is when you queue up people in DB, it chooses your opponent based off of your battle score and the stage you're on. So right now we have a battle score opponent of 43,164. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to fight them, and this is even as you can get, I guess. So going to fight them, and we'll see how that works. Now, the only thing I don't know is if you can reset to make them. We'll try that first. So the way that the system works is it's based off of your characters and how strong they are. So you can take all your gear off your characters. Hopefully you have a good memory. No, I don't remember completely if your other characters being geared makes a difference. It might just be your DB ones or whatever ones are in the party. But just be safe, I am taking off everything. I already have my other characters ungeared. Alright, so the first test we're going to do is if resetting. Oh, I guess that can stay. If resetting while you have no battle score, basically. Gonna look at my heroes now. 7, so almost 8,000, almost 9,000, 7,000, and 7,000. So I'm still about a 30,000 battle score. Alright, we're just gonna see if resetting it is going to give us an easier opponent. So we have 43,164. 32,162. So it does work like that too. So you don't have to do it. Now, if you don't want to have to use your search for opponent thing, we're going to show you how to do the traditional way. Alright, so the way that it works is if you have a character, let's see, let's go to there. What's this? If you have a character that has, let's switch that around. Sorry. If you have a character that, if your team has X amount of battle score and you get to the stage, it calculates that and gives you some hard opponent to beat or whatever based off of those that criteria. Now, what's gonna be like the changing thing here is your battle score is not always going to be the same. You're constantly getting stronger and things like that, so it could be changing quite frequently. So what how it calculates it is it just picks, oh, your battle score is X, this is the stage, so we've come up with Y, and that's who you're fighting. So the way that you can get around that is to have a low battle score, because then it's going to calculate your low battle score and give you an easier opponent to beat. Because they're like, well, he can't beat this person at this stage because that's just way too much for this person to handle. So we're going to go ahead and equip all their sweet stuff now that we've got that cleared out, and we're going to fight them and have a really easy win, go on to the next stage, and then we're going to do basically the method you can use every single time. Pretty sure I have these in somewhat not the exact right best place. Let's go with that for now. Getting some pretty good potentials in some of this stuff. Let's give that to you. This definitely goes to you. HP damage taken and HP recovery. Pretty lucky, not gonna lie. But you know what, I think that was... whatever. You know what, Dev's gonna attack more in DB than Kai. So other than this part, which is really damn annoying, it's pretty sweet. I think this is probably going to be the way that everybody's going to be doing DB from now on, because it's just the most practical. Alright, so then we go over into Dimensional Breakthrough here, and we use our now 40k team to take on the 30k team. Now there are some drawbacks to this, obviously, the time going in, but if you're using Hellfire Abuse to win your games, then it's obviously not going to be that awesome of a thing for, like, that bad of a thing for you to accommodate. Because going and taking off all your gear and then putting it all back on, it's going to be a lot easier than going and charging up your Hellfire and doing or whatever. Now you might need to remember where all the pieces are, but so long as you are only using a few characters and things are getting kind of out of hand, you should be good. It's also good for saving mana on your characters. Oh, that wasn't cool. If I had an instant death on there, I would have totally restarted. So now we have gotten our 40k power person down to a 30k power person. Now here's the trick. Instead of going next dungeon or okay, if you do that, it's going to keep you in DB and it's going to calculate your next opponent. So what you want to do is you want to hit the home button, go right into your equipment, and basically do it all again. So take everything off. And then go back into Dimensional Breakthrough. It'll calculate your new opponent, and we're still in the 30k range with a 4-star? That's pretty sad. Anyway, go back again, and you can see how this works to your advantage. This is going to be my first day doing a hopefully run all the way to 10 on my free account, because honestly I can't be bothered to do the DB. It's just too much work for me with the Hellfire Beast and whatever. So this is actually like a nice alternative. So if I'm done farming things, then this might be my go-to. This is what I'm doing. Coming up short. I want to refine this and try to get another attack by HP, but I don't want to. Oh, this one I can do. I don't want to do it to anything that's not legendary grade because sweet attack by 1% HP and damage to boss, and that's nice. See the other one? Crit rate by defense. Those are okay potentials. Don't think I used this one. So even I'm forgetting like what pieces I actually keep equipped all the time. But doing this, you can guarantee that your opponents are going to stay nice and easy. And I like nice and easy. Okay, and we're good to go again. Now hopefully they don't patch this because it's really, really, really cool. Hopefully it doesn't go based off your last week's party or something like that, like they did with Battle of Honor. I hate this level so much. It's kind of nice if you get here and you're really low on mana. Good. I like teams that don't run carrot too. They're pretty easy to deal with. Got no range. Ah, he can reach. That was freaking strong. Maybe I should have used moss. What? Oh, that's right, he's a 4-star. I forgot. How's this guy rated so low? Maybe I should have rolled a different character. 21,000 health. What's his skills at? 8, 3, 1. Is he maxing his passive? Not 1. Alright. I really should have not used this. I should have tried using moss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, Chris can't touch anybody, so that's fine. Okay. I'm going to come back here. Gotta protect Carrot. I guess I can break down the ladder. Or the wall. Oh, I didn't even break it. Nice. Wow, what the frick? He's hitting so hard. I guess Kai's gonna die here. Team seems to be hitting a lot harder than a 30k battle power team. I wonder if it can queue up people. 2,629% defense. Huh. I wonder if I got queued up against somebody taking their stuff off and then they put it back. I wonder if I just queued up against somebody that's a lot stronger than it said. Because this doesn't seem like they're a super, super weak ass team. At least not 10, 13,000 battle power weaker than me anyway. Better take the guaranteed kill here. But anyway, that is how it's done. So fairly easy. Like I think most anybody could easily pull that off. But it's going to let you get up to those later stages before you exhaust yourself and start losing a bunch of guys. Ideally, you can keep all your guys alive so you have units that you can keep the Hellfire going with if you need to use Hellfire abuse. So even if you can't get all the way to the end with that trick, you'll be able to get a lot farther. All right, now the next trick is one that we were talking about yesterday. about different statuses. Now, I'm not going to go into a battle and hope that I get charmed or anything like that. If you want to see it actually happen, I put up a video yesterday where we were doing some Vulcan levels, and we ran into a situation where we can do it. But if you get hit with a status ailment in a PvE map, you can queue up your mercenary before you get your turn to start, and the mercenary will override like a charmer for example, and instead of it using your turn and attacking your own guys, they will turn off the debuff completely and just bring out your mercenary. But you have to have it queued up before that turn starts. So the only ways that you can do that is if it's your mercenary that you have out that gets charmed, you just turn the mercenary thing off, so it switches back to your main character, like your original character, when it gets up to the mercenary's turn, so the mercenary won't come and attack you. And the other way around is the turn before the hero who is affected by the status ailment, and it does work if it's the first character in your party. You should have to do it while it's the enemy's turn, but you queue it up during the animations of either your character's attacks or before the enemy ends their turn. And if you do that, then it will only do it before the enemy ends their turn when you're turning on your own mercenary, if it is the first character in your team. I want that to be clear. But you can again overwrite charm and confusion, for that matter, with your mercenary. All right, now the next little thing that we're going to talk about is Lord masteries. Now, it's very cheap to reset these, so if you mess these up, 4,000 gold. It goes up to a maximum of 50,000 gold. Now, if you do end up maxing your purchase masteries for support or battle, whichever one you're going to go for first, I am actually going for support masteries right now, but I'm basically going to go full battle masteries later on. I just want to have this enhancement thing maxed out because I feel it's the most actually generally useful upgrade in the game. It was basically even a struggle just for me to get some 3-star gear to +7 without this enhancement. When I had it, it's basically you almost never fail unless it's going above 7. Even for 4-star and 5-star, it's like 5-star. I know I'm going to fail under 5 and maybe a couple of times to 6 or 7, but I'm not going to fail 30 times in a row while I have this mastery. Some people would rather go for the decreased expedition time, things like that. I don't really need that. And this is, I don't know if this is a typo. This used to be just potentials, but now it says equipment potentials. So I don't know if it's only for equipment, because there's the symbol of the hero here, where this one has the symbol of the weapon. So I don't know if this was after a patch they had changed this to only work on the weapons or the gear, or if that was an accident that happened and it's not supposed to be on weapons and gear, it's supposed to be on your hero. But this, I believe, if you have it maxed, will help you, or higher up, it will help you get pink potentials on your heroes. So that's also another really good one to get into. But the main thing is you should have different things that you're going for, and the Lord Masteries in support anyway give you huge benefits for whatever you're doing. So you should kind of save up a huge amount of gold and then reset when you're going to do like a mass, like you're going to enhance a ton of gear. If you're going to be enhanced, like, oh, you just got a bunch of characters to 4-star, you've got a whole bunch of gear, and now you're about to go and enhance it all. Do it all at the same time, store up a whole huge amount of gold, reset once, and you pay less money to enhance them by like respecing into different things. When you have everything all the way down, the Miser talent is really awesome, because especially when you're doing equipment, it's huge. Now, if you get up to 50,000, I'm pretty sure how much it saves you. What is it, 4.5%? Or let's see, 6.6 of 15, that's 9%. So 9% of the rebirth, I believe, is actually less. Like if you're going to rebirth a 5-star hero, now when right now I'm saving up on my main account, because I've got like I'm getting Angela to 4-star and level 60. I have Persona and I have Lena up there right now, and I am working on Rage to get up there right now. I'm going to have all 4 of them, and then I'm going to do it all at the same time, because then I save 200,000 gold. But it still is going to cost me 50,000 to reset it. But still, I'll save 150,000 gold if I do it like that. I normally have it Miser spec'd into generally all the time, because I think it's just the most beneficial talent you can get, especially when it gets to a point where gold is the huge thing limiting you and holding you back in the later game. It's, can you make enough or have enough gold to do the things that you're going to have is always happening. And I think that the pay crystals for gold is a huge ripoff. It's like they give you so little gold for in terms of what it can actually do. They could add a 0 to the amount of gold that they give you, and it would still just barely be worth it. So anyway, that's just my opinion. But next one's gonna make some money. But mostly just the resetting here is what you want to be looking out for. In Battle Masteries, there's really very few reasons to ever reset. So save your resets for your support masteries. Okay. Let's see, what else can we talk about right now? Oh, actually, I do want to talk about Battle Power for a minute. All right, so Battle Power is determined by a lot of different things. A lot of people like to compare their battle powers to see how strong they are. Battle of Honor is, you always see the other person's battle power, you go, oh, he's like 10k higher than me, I could probably still maybe beat him because the AI is stupid and things like that. It's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you're going to find people that are even lower battle score than you, and they're going to wipe the floor with your team if you don't have like amazing potentials, for example, and they do. So I'm going to go over all the different things that go into calculating a battle power. Just so you can have an idea of what to check out if you are able to examine another person and see just exactly how strong or not so strong their party is in the first place. So the first thing that goes into the battle power is obviously your character's level. If you level up, it increases the battle power of your character. The next thing is their hero potentials. Now, your potentials right here, it's based off of the rarity of the potential. So if you had all gray crit rates, dodge, defense, like if you want to look at these right here, and you can check what potentials can be given to you with this little magnifying glass. If you don't know about these little magnifying glasses, they're very, like these little things here, no matter what you're in, even in Rebirth, if you want to see the base stats of your hero, you come over here, select what grade it is you want to see their stats for. Or what they get from the different stages, cooperation bonus, and acquired skills and things like that. You just tap that little magnifying glass and it'll tell you their base stats and all the important information that you want to have them. So if you want to do a comparative, well, how's this character going to line up to this character? You already have their skills right in front of them, so you can see what their skills are going to be doing. And then you just have to do the math on the stats and see how that works out. Anyway, back to battle score. So your battle score is calculated off your potentials, and it's based off the rarity of the potential. So if I had all pink crit rate potentials, so 400 crit rate, 2,000, it would be 2,000 crit rate. But if I had all gray ones, they can go down to as low as 310, I believe. So you have 310 at 5, which would be 1,550. So it'd only be 450 crit rate difference, which is 4.5% crit. But that person having all pink potentials would give him a significantly higher battle score than me, just because they were all pink potentials. So that's another thing. So if you're trying to keep your battle score lower, which it seems that it looks like there's kind of benefits to having a slightly lower battle score, especially with what we just talked about with DB. Having maximized output for the lowest amount of battle score might be like kind of a refined thing people are going into later. Now, everybody's end goal is to have perfect everything, of course, but that's kind of unreasonable to expect that you're going to get everything all the time. Alright, obviously when you rebirth and go up to the next stage, you gain a flat amount of battle score because it's the same way as leveling up is going to give you battle score. If you increase a skill, well, I'm pretty sure, let's just test this out here. Increase the passive, that's useful. If you increase a skill, I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, so I gained 50 battle power from increasing my passive. So that's going to give you extra points going into your battle score. So if you're thinking maxing absolutely everything is the best way to go right now, maybe reconsider things like that if you're trying to make things easier for you in DB. Because a skill that you almost never use at all, you might want to keep the genes just in case you want to just max it out later and say who cares. But for right now, like, let's see if the first skill is any different. No, it looks like every skill gives you a flat amount of 50. So that something to keep in mind. Like, you can save yourself 450 battle score off your total character's level if you just, there's a skill you don't use at all. Don't bother maxing it if you're trying to keep yourself nice and low. Obviously, different pieces of gear are going to be affecting your battle score. Shit. I didn't equip my 3rd stage gear for that last fight. No freaking wonder he seems so strong and I seem so weak. Oh god, I am stupid as hell. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, look at this piece right here and this piece right here. So let's equip one. And then we'll equip this one. See how it raises my battle score? The only thing that determines your battle score increase with a piece of equipment is 1, the level of enhancement, and 2, the potentials. Like a hammer, a bow, and a sword all are considered equal by the game. So if you had all hammers, it's not going to give you lower amounts. But if you have, like, let's look at my bow on the right hand side. Now, this early in the game, 93 damage and 100 attack is actually like decent enough to be like worth it to keep. So that's good. The counter damage is actually hurting me because counter damage is basically the worst stat in the game. And it's not that fantastic. So this bow is awesome because it's got a pink potential. I'm not going to risk rolling it to get anything else when I have better options. Like, I'd rather roll on my sword again, but the sword's got 187 crit rate, and that's also really useful at this point in the game too. So that's basically just under 2% crit rate there. If you added my potentials, it's probably over that. But the rarity, again, it's just like potentials on your hero, where it's the rarity of the potential, not what the potential does. You could have all gray attack potentials, and I could have all pink counter damage potentials, and you're gonna clean the you're gonna wipe the floor with me, because your potentials actually give you influential, beneficial stats, but my battle score is going to be way higher than you because I've got all pink potentials. Makes sense? So if you're like this again comes down to just gear optimization in general, not just your battle score for your hero. You should know what you should want to be looking for. The golden pieces, like the little golden eggs that you should be keeping. Every piece of gear, especially if you're free to play and gear is hard to come by. Every piece of gear that has attack percent on it, damage percent, crit rate percent, and crit damage. Attack and damage are the most important. Later game, crit rate and crit damage become a little bit more important. But again, like everything, ideally you have all, like your perfect weapon is crit rate, attack damage, and crit damage, and it is possible to totally get pieces of equipment that have all of those things on them. If I can find it. Attack damage, crit damage, and I have great crit rate. But you know what? When I refined it, it could have been something else. Like even that 27 crit rate is pretty cool to have. It would be better if it was 2.7% crit rate, but I'm still not complaining. But it is possible to get pieces like that even as a free-to-play player. So always keep your eyes out for what you're getting. And again, keep in mind how it affects your battle score. So it's level, rarity, and potential rarity. Not the potential doesn't matter at all. It could be attack, it could be counter damage, could be hit rate. They're all the same. The only thing that matters is the colored potential that it's at. Okay, so we have gear, potentials, level, rebirth, gear potentials, and skill levels. Now, the other thing that increases the battle power of your characters are your battle masteries. So what might be useful to do if you are a late game player would be to turn, like, when you do your DB runs, reset your skills. Uh, if it's worth the money to you, you're going to have to decide that for yourself. It's just going to be the difference, though. Maybe if you can't get past 6 or can't get past 7, because the opponents are just too strong now, it might be something to look at. Well, if I just reset all my skills, then maybe it'll drop me like a whole bracket down. So I can tell you that every character in the top ranks has spent all their battle masteries already. All their battle masteries, all their support masteries, they probably bought those a long time ago. I bought them in the first like 3 weeks. Just because. All right, now what else can we talk about? I believe that's it for battle power. I'm going to be doing like every little thing. So some of the things are going to be really obvious things. Like we're going to be talking about the Nephthys dungeons here. All right, so Nephthys dungeons, if you don't know already, when you select each one, these little things here at the bottom, these give you little tips that people say. For the most part, I think that people just give really shitty advice here. Nobody generally says anything useful. And this little thing over here tells you actually the opponent you're using. And you can see in detail. Now what's nice about this screen is in battle you can only see the percent numbers. But in this screen you can see the flat numbers. Which is really cool. That's how I found out the defense on Rock, who's in stage 10, is 115,000, which is pretty bullshit. I'm glad that defense is a percentage instead of a flat, like, oh, you can't do 115,000 in attack? I guess it does 0. Because that would really suck. But you can see their actual flat number things. So if you're trying to think of a strategy here, like, oh man, they've got 2,800 defense, but you know what? I think I have 2,000 something armor ignore, so that's easy. I just hit them with a defense reduction, or I'll just use Kai, who ignores 4,200 armor, like things like that. You'd help plan your strategies better if you know that your skills ignore flat rates. Also, they all have a defense of weakening. Now, the rock is going to be the hardest one to activate. But it decreases their defense by 150,000. Now, it doesn't go negative, which would be really cool if it did, but it doesn't. It just goes to 0 here. It's up so high because the stage 10 is 115,000 defense. It actually makes me think that they might be adding later stages if they ever expand the game anymore, because they're weakening going to 150,000 when they only have 115,000 defense in the first place. Just sort of makes me think that they've got things designed for more expansion. So they'll probably be stage 11 and stage 12 at a different time, but we'll see when it actually gets there. They all have advantageous terrain of plains for some stupid reason. I don't get that part, but you can see all the actual number stats. So it's really nice to do that, and then you can see their weakness here. So the rock, as you know, is stun. The scissor is damage over time effects, which gives them a huge weakening, like 200% weakening. And the paper is really kind of just easy to play around because it's counter damage, but if you have a movement impairing effect on them, their counter damage becomes like 1 in 0 hits. Alright. Now, for the different corridor things, farming up and getting the golems, you're basically just going to have, like, there's no sweet, easy way to just go through these. The austere corridor and the solemn corridor are really easy. The grand corridor is going to be the one that's a little bit more annoying because the later stages, the boss goes first, and he hits his slow on you, and he's really far away. So the only thing I can tell you is when you're going to get your SS for the first time, like once you get it done one time in autoing, it's really easy. Like, you know, go nuts, just do whatever, and, you know, watch anime, read manga, and just hit start and let it do itself. But for this one, you're going to want to have a character like Serenity to remove debuffs on the first turn, so you can get your movement going and get a couple turns ahead. As soon as you have one character that gets to the boss, generally the boss does attack the one character, so your other characters can recover. But it's nice to have a character that heals just in this one. The other corridors are just small, nice, confined maps that are basically thoughtless, and you don't really need to do anything. Now, for drop rates on the different totems, I have found that if I need second stage pieces, and third stage pieces, that Golem 4 and 7 are the best ones to do. If I only need the last stage pieces, I do Golem Corridor 8 because it's got like a really high rate of dropping. Just like you get 3, 4 of the 4 stage ones so frequently. It's like, to me, it's just in my experience, it's almost all the time. It's almost hard to not get them for me. So it could be different for you. That's cool. But for me, I found it to be really easy. But I think that 4 and 7 are the best ones, because 4, if you really need a 2 stage and 3 stage, because that's going to have the higher rates, you could get some 1 stage. You could even get gold and energy and crap like that you really don't want from these things. But I found that the best ones to do are 4 and 7 for when I need everything. Like if I had nothing in my inventory and I need to get a character's golems to 5-star, I'll basically run 4 until I have all my 2-star. I'll basically run 7 for a whole bunch of time. I'll probably do 7 like 10 times, for example, and just see where I'm at. And if I need a lot of 2-stage ones or 3-stage ones, I'll decide if I'm going to 8 or if I'm going to 4. Because it's still possible to get like higher level golems, lower level golems on the higher dungeons. Oh, I can't even check it right now. But it's possible to get lower level golems on the higher dungeons. It's very unlikely. Generally, you don't, but it's still possible. You can get the 2-stage golem from Corridor 7 easily. It happens. But I found that 4 and 7 are the best ones to farm if you want to do it in the fewest amount of runs. For the armor storage and the weapon storage and the accessory storage, there's all different little things for those. Like they all have their own little stupid tricks with them, like whether it's being really far away or how am I going to close that movement difference in such a few amount of turns and things like that, or oh man, the boss is 5 range away or whatever like that. But there's not really any crazy tricks to it. It's mostly just straight up easy. Well, if I just have this easy team, then I should be fine. This team takes care of it, so there's not really any tricks I can really bring for that. But I'm sure that everybody will be able to figure it out at some point in time. I have posted videos, I believe, with the armor storage and the weapon storage stage 10s. I think I did the accessory storage. I don't remember because I generally don't have to farm these things on my pay-to-play account because I've got so many materials. But maybe I'll do it if I haven't posted anything. If there's anything I haven't, then just ask and I'll post a team that's really good for doing it. Alright, gem farming and events and doing your characters. Now, when you're trying to get through the game, you gotta understand this is right now, I would not even think that I could actually beat Glory. I'm racing Serenity now for before I do Glory, because Rabos's Charm and Cleo's Charm and Confusion are really annoying to deal with. So I want to have Serenity race before I do. So before I go into to Glory, or if you're just trying to rush through the game, you're probably going to need some money to keep up with that. Before you go into different areas, you're going to want to kind of max out a bunch of characters or get them kind of nice and strong. Or just do all the farming you can in the day and just keep progressively going through as soon as you're kind of finished. Because you don't want to get to like the end of the game. Like you're beating Lista, you're going into Ashen, and you have all these characters with like no stats, no skills leveled and things like that. So you're going to want to be doing your farming progressively, and there's different breaks in the game that are huge walls in terms of farming, and you're going to want to know what they are. So the first huge wall is your 3-star characters. Once you get to 3-star, you can generally do it pretty easily because you have all this energy because you're leveling up fast, and the game's just keeping you playing because you level up, you get your energy full again. You just keep playing over and over and over again. You can probably do that in like 2 days, like with not even that hardcore playing, but 2 days you could probably manage to get up there. In 3-star to 4-star, you might be there for a couple weeks because you should probably just take your time unless you want to be spending a whole bunch of money to do that. I did the whole bunch of money way the first way through, but this time through, because I'm not spending anything except for the monthly package, like you're gonna want to do things more this way. Now, you kind of get like generally exactly what you need before you go to the next area, and that's why you're gonna need to keep this in mind. In Tezen, you get Deb and you get Carrot. So you get Carrot right away. She's the huge area, highest attack character. You get this early, and then you can use her. Like now, she has to fight a Scissor and a Scissor, which is crappy. But Carrot really doesn't have to worry about defense against Scissor bosses because she generally stays really far back. What's more important about Carrot is her high area, high attack and area damage with her second skill that has a low mana cost, so she can cast it repeatedly. And then you have a Scissor tank if you want to drop Chris, and you have a Scissor DPS and fast growth hero area attacking Deb, which you get. Now you go into Company. And then Company, you have 3 paper bosses. I believe Dolores is paper anyway. Yeah, Dolores is paper. Everybody in Company has a paper affinity. So you have a tank and a area DPS that you have that are Scissor. And then you have this other character that's mostly just for taking care of the trash mobs and whatever, and picking off bosses a little bit. But for the most part, Carrot is just for area damage, and the PvE section just mostly minions, and then bosses is kind of a nice bonus that she has with her too. Though she'll probably not be on the front line, she'll be picking off things from the back. But then you get like exactly what you need. Now from Company to Vulcan is the first big difficulty jump in the game. So I would recommend that you actually finish Company's completion 100% before you move on to Vulcan, and just even if it takes a few days to get through this and get everything SS, guys, I still recommend it because you'll be able to farm the genes up. Because the thing is, Moss is basically the character that you're going to need. Dolores and Jenny are kind of useless. Jenny is well, she can be really strong if you have like a 60% crit rate. But she can't really be that strong by herself because she can't really use her third skill consecutively. It's basically impossible at this stage of the game. It's almost impossible, especially if you want it to be higher than level 1. If you have it maxed out, it costs like 170 mana or something like that. Even at 5-star, that's not something you'll be able to cast multiple times in a row without having some good investment into mana potentials and equipment and things like that. But Moss is the first healer in the game, and you get him right before you go into the first higher difficulty area, which is Vulcan. Vulcan has a very high difficulty cap compared to Company. If you just think of how much harder it gets from this place to this place, this is the first big one. Foos has an okay jump, and then Glory has a fairly big jump too. So at this point in time, it's when things generally start getting a lot harder to beat, but they're all very manageable with 4-star teams. Now, when you go from Glory to Gurgus, that is another huge leap where you need 5-star characters to really kind of coast through it. You're going to have a really hard time if you only have 4-star characters. So, like the game is designed like this mostly, so you get the farming, you deal with these things that you need for the next part now, and then it's like these 3 areas here, these 3 areas there, and those 3 areas there. So, Verna, Tezen, and Company, your basic areas. I'm going to call that the first to 3rd star in the game. These are great places to be. Vulcan, obviously you can still do Vulcan with 3-star, but you're going to need to have some actually good strategy, maybe even a few good mercenaries from some people. If you can ask the chat, see if anybody can hook you up with any sweet characters. If you're aiming to beat it in SS with all the bosses. Like I have OP mercenaries. I don't think I would even be able to beat Jack SS on Chaos or Hell or whatever. I think it's Hell difficulty on this one. What is it? Yeah, I don't think I would even be able to beat Hell mode with just the way that my characters are right now. I don't think that they're strong enough to actually do it in a sufficient amount of turns. Like I think that it's like 4 turns. Yeah, I don't think that I could beat Jack in 4 turns without my mercenary. So, again, things to keep in mind before you go on. Now, this is just a really hard section. Like, Jack is really tanky. He doesn't generally do that much damage, but he's really freaking tanky. And he can basically bring the pain to you for a very long time. So you want to be able to kind of focus things up. Like, the game's very well divided into these 3 sections. The first 3 areas, the second 3 areas, and the last 3 areas, the way that it was on release. And now Ashen, which is just straight up, like, you're going to need a really strong team to do this. I'm not saying you can't beat the game with 4 stars. I'm sure people have done it. It's not. It shouldn't be that completely impossible. Like, we do have a healer, so as long as you can get some really good gear and things like that. Like, I've had 4-star characters equipped that I used. For example, I used my Tau in my PvP video the one day. I put really amazing 4-star gear on Tau, and she had like 50,000 health and like 20,000 attack and stuff like that. So, like, it's definitely possible to make these overpowered 4-star heroes, but it's not generally practical for most people. Okay, the Tower of Dawn. Wait a minute. I don't remember the Tower of Dawn appearing in my story. I guess it is after Foos, but wasn't I supposed to get a, hey, there's the Tower of Dawn? If I do this scenario, does it do it here? Oh, that's Sion's advice. Okay, well, this is going to be a waste. Sorry about that. But the Tower of Dawn is really hard. You should always do as much as you can, because the rewards are pretty damn awesome. But, like, again, you're probably going to need to have some really strong 5-star characters to end up even getting past 30. The stats and the bosses and the conditions are just too hard to deal with, no matter what your tactics are. I'll just skip this. I'll watch it later if I feel like it. But like, no amount of tactics can overcome some of the maps that they have. Like, they literally have maps where you're literally just surrounded, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay, let's see, what else can we do? Alright, in the shop. Oh, there's no black event on right now? Damn it, I kind of wish that I had saved up some crystals here. Let's just hope that this is a accessory. I shouldn't have spent all my stuff. Oh my god, that's awesome. Alright, so when you're buying gear, do not buy black capsule gear if you are a free-to-play player. Capsule drop rates are insanely low. Like, they're so low, it is... I don't understand what went into their thought process of, hey, you know how shitty we should make these things for people to get? They're really low drop rates. So if you are doing it, wait for between times for the capsule events, because you're throwing away whole extra capsules by paying the extra money for the black caps, and the only thing it's going to be is an inconvenience to you, because you're not going to be completing any sets if you're doing things the free-to-play way. Not likely anyway. You might be completing some if you're able to beat a few stages in in the Tower of Dawn. If you can get some black caps from the Tower of Dawn, fine, that's cool. But you're not going to be able to have so fun of a time when you're farming things and spending things during black cap events. For example, I got this from a black cap. Forget what I got it from, to be completely honest. I think I got it from my one of my sign-in days for my first 8 days for playing the game. They give you some pretty sweet items for playing the game for the first 8 days. You get like a cool thing. One of them's like a legendary capsule guarantee, an accessory capsule, 3-star. Pretty sure that was my 3-star accessory capsule that I got it from. Not complaining that's a set item, but like with the DB thing, I can't unequip it without paying crystals, so it kind of sucks. So yeah, don't waste the money on crap like that. It's completely worthless. I also have this thing that I got because I did buy some during Black Cap events because I just got the 3-star and I couldn't wait. Like the 300 hours that it was going to take for me to get it, or 100 something hours, whatever, how long it is. But again, I got this weapon. It's got a sweet potential on it, but like, am I going to get the Tiger Tribe Guardian set, and am I going to actually want it even if I do get it? It's not that likely that I'm even going to use it, so That's a little bit depressing, but it's not. It's obviously not a terrible thing. So I'm just putting myself back together. Can't believe I let myself go out like this. Come on, work. I don't know if you have any like things that you do to try and make it work better. Sometimes I'll try to count the time it takes for the thing to work, and then I'll leave half that amount of time. Like if I say I failed like 10 times in a row, I'll stop and I'll have a pause for half as long as it takes for an enhancement to do, and then I'll start halfway through and I'll do like another 3 or 4, and see if I get lucky. Just try to change up the tempo a little bit, but I got 2 5-star right. Oh, sorry, both my Pathfinder bows. I did them within 3 potentials. Sorry, 3 enhancements doing that. So that was pretty cool. But I'm not that superstitious a person, though I did totally hold down B every time my Pokeballs captured something. Just saying. When you're doing your ancient coin stuff, I recommend focusing on one hero, then trying to do everything, and pick Moo. Like this, I don't want to get crazy into it, but basically, Moo is the character that you need. Everybody else is kind of mediocre. Moo is extremely underrated. Everybody knew she was amazing going into the game, and then everybody changed their mind for some stupid ass reason. I don't know why. Moo is pretty damn awesome. You could basically replace Moss on your team and put Moo on the team, and just have an extra DPS that's kind of tanky at the same time. So like Moo is pretty sweet. Now her skills are going to be hard to level, so maybe don't put her in right away. But if you're just using expeditions to level her up and things like that after you get her, definitely a really good healer, stunner, damage dealer. Like Moo basically does everything, so she's pretty good. Okay, what else have we missed so far? Oh yeah, friend caps. Friend capsules. You don't like remember you don't have to spend these. Like if you know you're going to be going into 4-star like the next day, I'd recommend like maybe saving up for 3 or 4 days. Depending on how long it takes you to get your friendship points, it's going to depend on how many friends that you have. If you only got 20 friends, you might want to like actually take 3 or 4 days. Maybe you can do it in 2 days, depending on how often you use your mercenaries. If you got 40 or 50 friends, but it's nice to have basically capped out friendship points for when you go into the next stage of your stars, because generally you get equipment that is of a certain rating after like it's too late for you to need it. Like you get to 4-star, let's say let's go to glory for example. Let's just look at some of these levels. I wonder if anything actually gives me gear. Can I not look at it? I can't even look at it? Oh, that sucks. Does this give me gear? Alright, well, whatever. Vulcan. Trying to find a piece of equipment here. Oh, All right, look. In Vulcan, it's only giving me green 2-star gear. Like, I needed this stuff back, like, in Tezen. And I'm just getting it in Vulcan. So generally they give you these rewards for gear, like, when it's kind of too late. Like, you needed them the area before, like, and now it's giving them to you now. Like you start getting gray 5-star items in Lista. You totally could have used them in Gurgis. So, as soon as you get there, you're probably going to want to start spending your caps right away to get your initial starting pieces for different pieces of gear of your different rank. And since you can't buy the different rank until you actually have one that is that rank, you're just going to want to start doing it basically right away. Let's see. Oh yeah, Expedition for crystals. It's a bad investment. If you are going to Expedition level 10 because you think it's going to pay for itself in crystals eventually, it will pay for itself in crystals in like 6 months. So keep it at 4 unless you really, really, really absolutely feel you need it. The benefits to Expedition level 10 is having extra stuff and chance of additional rewards. So the extra general rewards, extra chance of having extra rewards, you could feel that it's worth it. Now, if like trying to justify the crystal cost, like I feel that with Expedition 4, I'm able to sustain my mood coins every day and even have extra. Like, I just got home and I'm signing in now, and I already had like just with my overdraft and the ones that I did overnight, like 140 something jeans, right? Or tokens. How many mood jeans can I buy today? You can only buy one more, and I got all night to keep throwing on expeditions. If you really feel that you have to have Momo, you have to have Unknown, you cannot sustain 2 heroes on Expedition 4. So only go to Expedition 10 and waste all of those crazy amounts of crystals if you know for an absolute fact that you have to farm more than 1 hero at a time. If you're only doing 1 hero at a time, don't bother. Shark's useless. Momo is generally useless. Unknown is useful in Rock Coup Dungeon. And Mu is the only actual useful Ancient Coin hero. Just saying. Alright, costumes. There's 3 costumes that give movement. There's Serendi's costume, Angela's costume, and Nirvana's costume. All of those costumes are generally good purchases if you have those characters. Angela is one of the best characters in the game, just in terms of she removes buffs from your enemies. She does a ton of damage, and she has huge attack, huge defense, and good area. The downside is she can kill your team if she hits them, but I'm sure you're smart enough not to kill your own team most of the time. Serendi is like the most useful character in the entire game, so you need this costume. This is the only one that I think that you should save up for. Now, don't bother buying it until you actually have Serendi up at 3 stars, 4 stars. If you find that you're doing fine just with the 4 movement, don't even bother buying it at all. It's going to be kind of subjective to the rest of your team. Now, I find that she's amazing with 5 movement. Actually, mine has 6 movement because I have a Pathfinder set, and she just wrecks things in PvP. Like, she's so much better with that extra 1 movement. Pony, worst character in the game. He's a giant chicken. Just wanted to get that out there. Worst character, with the exception of Dolores. So those are the ones with movement. Anything else is just basically going to be for show. Like, I would totally buy this costume just for the looks because it's so badass. But that, like, I'm a pay-to-play player, so keep that in mind. If you are playing free-to-play, you're probably not going to want these things. They don't give good, really good stats at all. For the amount of crystals, it's like, do I want to pull a bunch of 3-star gear, 10 3-star pieces, or do I want a costume that gives 380 attack and 50 hit rate? And that's a good costume stat-wise. Let's look at Asriel's 100 crit rate and 300 counter damage. Not like, it's not even a cool looking costume. He just looks like a judge with weird wings. the scythe over the staff. I don't know. I think his staff's better. I think this video has been going long enough, so I'm just going to stop it here. If I come up with a few other little trick-like things that you should know or just keep in mind in general, I'll be posting more later.